Ladies and gentlemen, mark this date on your calendar with red ink. Yes, the 16th of November 2024 is the grand anniversary celebration of Revelation Revealed Ministry. It will be celebrated in fine style, namely a grand musical extravaganza. On the lineup, we have Destiny, Aliana, Rosenia, Edify, Thea Frank, Latoya Mullins, Rupert Hurlock, and Victor Thompson, and Dr. Winston Hurlock, and many more. You just can't afford to miss this evening. It will be great. Make sure you invite a friend and come out and celebrate with us at the Seventh-day Adventist Church, 4350 Lawrence East in Scarborough. See you then.
My name is Carolyn Nichol. I am a certified holistic nutritionist, and I've been working for over a decade with people, and there has only been 3 times in the history of my practice that I was not able to reverse high cholesterol, and I will tell you why in a minute. Because the truth is that cholesterol is not the enemy. However, high cholesterol is a problem. Now, for some people, like the 3 that I wasn't able to reverse, there is a genetic disposition that your body actually overproduces cholesterol. But in those 3 situations, we were sure able to help people to have a much healthier life when you learn the truth about cholesterol. So since this session is being recorded, I'm just going to ask you to keep your cameras off during the recording time and keep your mutes on. But please, this is very interactive. So I want you to ask questions. Just throw them in the chat as we go, and I will answer all the questions at the end. We're trying to keep this to an hour. And friends, here we go. We are going to start our cholesterol. It's not the enemy. This information is so valuable. I'm just so excited to share it with you. And so with a lot of research, I have been able to pull together some better understanding about cholesterol. And again, as you have questions, just throw them in the chat. So let's talk about cholesterol and what is it? So basically, cholesterol is a waxy fatty substance, okay? Now, it's found in the bloodstream, and it's very necessary. It's a necessary compound to build your healthy cells, to protect the nervous system. Cholesterol, higher levels than normal, of course, can increase the risk of heart disease, and then you may develop fatty deposits in your blood vessels. You could also, of course, create fatty liver. So high cholesterol can really be a problem, but if there's any takeaway that I want you guys to know is that high cholesterol is absolutely imperative for the human body, absolutely imperative. So that is important for you to know. And I don't know if you knew this, or not, but cholesterol is, as we mentioned, a fatty substance, but it's imperative to have cholesterol in the system. But this cholesterol, this fat, cannot enter the bloodstream on its own. It can't travel alone. Can you imagine if you're trying to put oil in water and you're trying to mix it up together? So, of course, our most amazing, fearfully wonderful made body has a great mechanism to learn how to do this situation well so that your cholesterol, because it's needed, will get around and through the bloodstream. So with that being said, is that your body packages proteins with fats, wraps them up so that they can travel through the bloodstream. It's incredible. Can you imagine all of a sudden, you mix some oil and water, you're really trying to get it together, it's not working. Then all of a sudden, all of these oils ball up and then they go right in the water and mix itself. That's what happens. the body attaches lipids and proteins, tiny particles. Lipoproteins is what they're called. That's the official name, so that they can be packaged up in the body and sent to the right places. And why? Why would we want all of this cholesterol floating all over our system? Why would we even want that? So let's go further to understand the role of cholesterol here and what we really need to do. So first of all, these are the healthy adult levels of cholesterol. So it's important for you to know, and you know, as you know, I help heal everybody naturally. But I don't discourage people from going to the doctor and getting blood work. And if you have blood work that you're concerned about, and you know, you've gone over with your doctor, you need another opinion, I absolutely can help read that blood work. But these are the levels that you want to be getting it in the ranges, okay? So you really don't want your total cholesterol to be more than 5.2, but do you understand what your HDL cholesterol is, your LDL cholesterol, and your triglycerides? These are all extremely important numbers that we need to know and understand why it's there. Okay, so those are generally the numbers. And I just want to remind the audience that if you are struggling with high cholesterol that you are concerned about, we have, except for 3 people in a decade, and I'll tell you why in a moment, we have, I'm going to say 97% success rate at reducing cholesterol. You're only going to fall into that category if you, of course, don't have that genetic disposition. So let's get into it. Everybody's heard, I'm sure, of this good cholesterol and bad cholesterol. I want to tell you something. God doesn't make anything bad, okay? Human beings do that mess. So the reality is that we don't have bad cholesterol in our system. We have only good cholesterol. Everything is necessary. So what you do have is that you do have HDL, high density lipoproteins, okay? And you have low density lipoproteins. And the reason why one is high and one is low is because one is a carry out and one is a carry in. Okay, so that's why it's important. So your low density lipoproteins, less surface area, they are trying to travel fast, okay? They're trying to travel fast because they have a job to do. So your LDL, as many people have heard, is your bad cholesterol. It's not bad. It is so important for all of your hormones. Now, your hormones are your communication messengers throughout your entire body. Without LDL cholesterol, your body's not communicating. Your testosterone's not functioning. Your female hormones are not balancing. Your brain is not working. You absolutely need LDL cholesterol. The problem is when it climbs too high. But your liver produces LDL cholesterol. It's a very important cholesterol that actually travels through the bloodstream with your lipoproteins, and it's transferred. The body's so incredible, the way that it's transferred in order for hormone production, for hormone communication. That is the travel mechanism that it's using. So you do need LDL cholesterol. Now you have your high density lipoproteins, right? Your HDL, which again, these are lipids, these are fats. So bigger surface area, and what your HDL is doing is that your HDL is now going to take any extra cholesterol that wasn't used, that wasn't needed, and it's going to bring it to the liver for excretion. So yes, that is why it is nicknamed as the good cholesterol, because it's taking it out of the body. However, if you don't have cholesterol going into the system, so many functions of the human body wouldn't even exist or be able to exist. So the problem is when the cholesterol is getting too high. And so now we have too much entering the bloodstream and not enough leaving the bloodstream. Or we even have too much of the high density going everywhere through the system. And your liver, it's like such a busy production that your liver can't actually handle everything. So it's important to understand how to get that balance, where this comes from, and what to do when your cholesterol does get too high, because we are definitely talking about heart disease and liver failure and heart attacks at its finest if we are not, and there's no such thing as a fine heart attack, of course, but if we are not taking care of our cholesterol levels, this can become very, very detrimental. But high density and low density, for those who just joined us, no such thing as bad. These are good lipids. High density, do you guys remember? HDL cholesterol takes away, brings to the liver for expulsion, and LDL is going into the bloodstream so that it can do all of these incredible functions in the human body that are necessary for you and me. Now we have this fancy molecular structure called a triglyceride. What on earth is a triglyceride? Well, very interesting, of course, your liver, an incredible organ. Friends, take care of your liver. If you do not have a healthy liver, you will not have a healthy bloodstream. I want to remind you that your life is in the blood. If you do not have good blood, you will not have good health. And your liver is what is filtering that blood, balancing your hormones. It is so important to have a healthy liver. If you have a layer of fat on your liver, you must come and talk to me so I can show you how to get that fatty liver down, because when your liver is compromised, your entire health is compromised. Your kidneys end up compromised. And I'm just seeing way too many people with kidney disorders today. We have had an incredible success rate at bringing kidney function up naturally, but boy, what a job, and what an amount of work my clients have to do to get there. Let's do ourselves a favor and let's heal this now. So triglycerides, what are these about? These are fat molecules that come together to cover glucose. They basically contain energy, okay? They are a fat molecule that contains glucose so that it is holding the energy for different types of function in your body. Your body doesn't need a lot of it, but that's what your triglycerides are. So they are fat molecules that store glucose. I want you guys to be thinking about this. I want you to try to put your nutrition hat on. And as I'm telling you all these things, I want the pieces to start to come together in your brain. Like, okay, so we've got fat molecules that store energy. Where's this energy coming from? I have high triglycerides. I don't, but maybe that's what you're thinking. So what's next here? What I want you to understand is that cholesterol is not the enemy. There are four main functions of cholesterol. So steroid hormones, those are your estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, very, very important for hormone function. Your cortisol, your adrenaline, all of this requires cholesterol. So it's very, very important that you have the good and right levels of cholesterol. Very important. So bile production. Anybody know what bile is for? Okay, you need bile. Bile is extremely important in the body. So bile production, not seeing the answer in the chat, but bile production is so important because you can't even digest one almond without bile. So yes, you do need bile, and it is your cholesterol that is produced through the liver that is then transferred into bile salts, bile liquids going into your gallbladder so that your gallbladder can then release bile into your intestinal tract so that you can digest anything that has any kind of fat. Again, fat can't mix with water. So isn't it amazing that your body releases this bile so that it can properly contain the enzymes to break down the fats in your body? Yes, totally amazing. But again, some of us have an overproduction of bile and we get bile stones and we get gallstones. So I'll discuss that shortly. But what I want you guys to understand is that it is very important for you to have cholesterol to produce that bile. And if you don't have a gallbladder, your body will take from the liver, it'll go directly into the intestinal tract. It doesn't have that regulation through the gallbladder. So don't run out and get your gallbladder out so easily. So it's like doctors are like, oh, we'll just take out your gallbladder. Like, that's serious. It's serious. You can still live without it, but it's not ideal. But I do want to tell you that all of these situations are fixable. And if you are struggling with gallstones, friends, we shake gallstones naturally out of people's body every single month. Like, there's always a client that's got gallstones, and we are able to get them out naturally. So that I have never had a fail with in a decade. Vitamin D3, so important. Friends, if you have low vitamin D3, this is a cancer-causing situation and environment in the body. D3 is important for so many functions. So it is your cholesterol that is converted into vitamin D3. So it's absolutely necessary. And your brain is wrapped in an incredible amount of fatty tissue called a myelin sheath. It wraps your entire nervous system. Without that myelin sheath protection, you will not be able to think straight. You will forget things. Alzheimer's, dementia will set in, Parkinson's, MS. That is myelin sheath degeneration. So if you don't have good cholesterol in your body, you are not going to have a strong myelin sheath. So it is very important, as you can see, that you need cholesterol in your body. These are absolutely main important functions for the human body. So let's just understand this a little bit more. I'm not expecting us to jump into anatomy, biology, but I do want you guys to understand that in order for the synthesis to occur from the cholesterol to talk to your hormones or to help your hormones communicate, you need cholesterol in order for that process, for your estrogen, your progesterone, your testosterone, your cortisol, your whole adrenal cortex, which your fight or flight, in order to even get up in the morning and want to get out of bed, you absolutely need cortisol. And what is so important is the cholesterol factor. Friends, not just the cholesterol factor, your LDL cholesterol. This is its main job and responsibility. Not even your HDL. This is LDL. This is the bad cholesterol. It's not bad cholesterol. The problem is that when you have so much of it and you don't have enough functions to use it, it's so sticky. Where is it going? That's the issue. That's the problem. But you do need LDL cholesterol or you're going to have a hormone imbalance. So remember what I just said, that if you don't have enough LDL cholesterol, you are going to have a hormone imbalance. You are going to have issues with your male functions, your female functions, your stress levels, if you don't have enough LDL or if your LDL isn't functioning properly. And blood tests aren't always going to show that. So I just want you to be thinking about that for a minute as we continue to go on here. So let's just go to understand. Usually, wow. I'm like finger happy here. All right. Click, click, click happy. So statin drugs are generally the drugs that are prescribed for high cholesterol. You could be generally on anywhere from 5 milligrams to 40 milligrams. I have sadly seen some clients with 60 milligrams. So anything above 10 in my opinion, is way too high and you're on dangerous levels. So check how much cholesterol meds you're on, and they'll come in a whole bunch of different names and types and endings, but generally they probably fall into the category of a statin drug. Well, I'm telling you, we have incredible food and drug scientists that have figured out that this drug, it is not taking cholesterol and removing it out of your bloodstream. What it does is it goes into the liver and it communicates to the liver to stop the production of a certain enzyme so your body doesn't produce a lot of LDL cholesterol. That's a problem, friends. I understand that if you have high cholesterol, and too much LDL cholesterol, this statin drug is a powerful way to stop your liver from producing too much LDL cholesterol. But here's the thing. If you don't fall in this 9% of the population whose body produces too much LDL cholesterol or has a genetic mutation where LDL cholesterol gets overproduced, your body doesn't produce too much cholesterol. So if you're stopping the production of your body's natural ability to produce LDL cholesterol because it's showing too high, why is it showing too high? That's not a normal disposition. So that's what we need to check. And you will find cholesterol in foods. Now we'll see on another slide that your body produces 80% of the cholesterol that you need. You get 20% from food, but 80% of the cholesterol that you have in your system that your body produces is actually all you need. There's something called essential fatty acids, your flax, your chia, your avocados, your omega-6s, your omega-3s. These are essential fatty acids that your body actually doesn't produce. That's where your 20% should come from. You can get that from plants. Plants produce that in beautiful, perfect quantities, enough, higher omega-3s, lower omega-6s. But here's the thing. You can also find cholesterol in your food. So if you're having dairy products, you will receive cholesterol. Fish, you're going to get cholesterol. Eggs, especially the yolk, you're going to get cholesterol. White meat, red meat, any kind of meat, shrimp. In fact, the reason why these all have cholesterol is because they, like us, are in the animal kingdom. And all animals produce their own cholesterol. So when you eat an animal, you get theirs plus yours. So this is what I want your brain to be thinking, is that if my LDL cholesterol is looking so high and my body does not overproduce cholesterol, I am actually not in that category of overproducing cholesterol. So if that's the case and my LDL is high and I keep eating animal products, but I'm taking a statin drug to stop the LDL from being produced, and that, friends, that LDL cholesterol that is being produced is the best cholesterol for your hormone function. The cholesterol you get from these animal products is not good for your hormone function. In fact, this cholesterol is the one that your HDL has to go and chase and get out of your system. So if that's the case, there are some omega-3s and there are some omega-6s in this cholesterol, no question about it. So some of it is going to be good for you, but the reality is most of it is not. And if your LDL is high, even if your HDL is high, it could be because you're over consuming some of these too much omega-6s or 3s. But I just want you to think of the dangers of statin drugs. The dangers of statin drugs not for your cholesterol, but for your male functioning, for your female functioning, for the whole progesterone, estrogen system, testosterone, all of that, for your stress ability to function. If you are stopping the production of that LDL that helps to produce all of this because you have too much cholesterol, why are we doing that? Why don't we just stop what's making the LDL too high? which could be the animal products. But friends, it might not be the animal products. It could be something else. Do you know that when you eat too many carbohydrates, what does your body do with that? Carbohydrates are turned into glucose for fuel. So when glucose is receiving to the body, and again, if you were on our diabetes seminar, glucose is not the enemy. We need glucose. Like, how could I function? I have lots of energy today because I've got glucose in my body, but I've got good glucose and it's going into my cells. So when glucose goes inside a cell, there's a chemical combustion, and I have energy and you have energy for me to function like this today, do my workouts, my walk, everything we're doing, plus for my heart to beat and my pancreas to work, my brain to think. Your brain uses so much glucose. So here's the thing, is that I need the glucose, but you only need a certain amount of glucose every day, friends. So whenever you have glucose, insulin's released. And when insulin's released, the body knows, hey, I've got to produce some cholesterol. And so that's important because you need this cholesterol. And when you've got too much glucose, friends, I want you to really think about this with me, with those that were here from the beginning or were listening. So now we've got too much glucose in the system. It can't get into the cell because there's too much cholesterol blocking those cells. Now you're diabetic. But on top of that, what's happening here is that your body has to store this glucose. And when it stores the glucose for certain periods of time, it will then turn it to cholesterol. Triglycerides, remember, they are fat with glucose stored inside of them. Your body needs that, but only in small amounts. Too much of that, it builds up, it becomes this sticky, it's almost like dynamite in your system. That's why your doctor, or you'll hear that high triglycerides are extremely dangerous in the body. They're like little time bombs. They're fat with energy in them. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, so this is a major problem because it's almost like you have high cholesterol with diabetes in one cell. So if you eat too many carbohydrates, you may also get high cholesterol. So again, high cholesterol only comes from animal products, but you are an animal and I'm an animal. We shouldn't eat animals. We were designed to eat plants, but if you eat too much plants of this type, your body's going to convert that glucose into stored cholesterol. So that's the reality. Now, this goes from a carbohydrate to glucose. Wow. What happens when we just go straight glucose? Yikemongers, if that's even a word. Now your sugar is immediate into the bloodstream and your insulin rises very fast. Cholesterol production is happening very quickly. It is a major all alarm situation inside your bloodstream when you and I consume sugar, especially, friends, if you are insulin resistant. Because for a healthy person having a treat, that glucose goes in the bloodstream and then your cells can sap it up and it can get inside that cell real quick. But if your cholesterol is high, you probably have insulin resistancy. If you're diabetic, most likely you have insulin resistancy. That means that your cells are blocked with too much saturated fat, too much lipids on there because they're sticky and they stick to the cells. So now this sugar you ate can't get inside the cell. It stays in the bloodstream. Danger, danger, danger. Very, very dangerous. Sugar erodes things. So that's how cells get eroded. That's how we get neuropathy. Anyway, this is not a diabetic seminar, but here's the reality. Almost every diabetic, I'm going to say 7 out of 10 diabetics that I talk to, we have a full diabetic program. So I'm working with dozens of diabetics weekly. They almost always are on cholesterol meds. Almost always. Because blood sugar wasn't the issue in the first place. There was too much cholesterol, which blocked the insulin receptors, and now your sugar can't get inside the cell. Friends, this is so fixable, but I just want you to know that cholesterol is not just I'm eating too much meat. Meat is actually not the #1 enemy for cholesterol. That's the reality. Your sugar and your overconsumption of carbohydrates is a much bigger problem. Now, of course, it's a really big problem when you produce your own cholesterol and now you're getting the cholesterol of an animal. And now you have their cholesterol plus yours. That's a big problem. All three of these are big problems. But you may be like, no, I don't eat donuts. I don't eat it. But you might drink fruit juice. You might, I can't tell you how many people I talk to. They're like, oh no, I only have healthy snacks. I snack on fruit all day. Well, you can't snack on fruit all day. Your body needs 3 cups maximum of fruit for the entire day. And if you're diabetic, probably a little bit less. So even good sugar, if your body has enough and it doesn't need it, it's going to be stored. So it's going to be stored, glucose, glycogen, and then it's going to become cholesterol. It's going to be stored as fat because your body only needs a certain amount. Most of us, friends, are consuming more calories, more sugar, more fats, more protein than we actually need. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be overweight, but you could be showing other symptoms and signs of that. Our system needs a whole lot less calories than most of us believe or understand. And that is the reality of the matter on a whole. So a couple things that I just want you guys to understand here, because this is very important. Understanding the bile production is quite important because your liver must produce a certain amount of bile in order for you to digest things properly. So between 15 and 30 grams of bile, salts, and acids are secreted from the liver each day, okay? And your gallbladder stores them, but your body is not using it's using maybe a couple grams for the day. So a lot of that is stored. And when you have too much bile production, it does calcify, because ultimately they were lipids turned into bile, which, can you imagine just that whole process that your body knows to do that is incredible. But the point of the matter is that yes, this bile is wonderful. Yes, this bile is good. But if you have gallstones, or even kidney stones for that matter, but let's just stick with gallstones. If you have gallstones, it's not just because you're having too much fats or too much fatty foods. It could very well be that you're eating way too many carbohydrates. You're having just way too much sugar. Your body will turn that into fat, and then that fat, if not being used, your liver will try to take the excess cholesterol and turn it into bile salts. It will do that because the liver can't store. Things go in the liver and it should come out, in the liver and come out. There's a lot of different pathways. It could go through the pathway for the bile. It could go through one of the highways that goes right up through the entire bloodstream. It could go through the portal vein and come out through your digestive tract another way. So, but what's going into the liver needs to go through a process and it needs to come out. Your liver is not there to store. Yes, your pancreas will store insulin. Yes, your gallbladder is going to store bile. There's certain organs that are designed to store, but your liver was not one of them. Your liver is not one of them. So if your liver is storing fat, it's a major issue, friends. And we can very, very easily get gallstones by having, yes, too much fat in our diet, but it's also a matter of too much sugar or too much carbohydrates. So a couple things, again, just understanding that this LDL and this HDL are not bad, definitely necessary, and your liver will produce 80% of the cholesterol that is in our body. 20% of total body cholesterol is actually in the brain. And on a whole, compared to the size of the brain to the rest of the body, that is a whole lot of cholesterol. But here is the thing, is that your brain actually produces its own cholesterol. It is an incredible machine. Your brain uses more glucose than any other part of your any other system in the human body. And your brain is actually taking glucose, taking proteins, and it's converting it to that wonderful fat that covers all of your neurons and your axons so that you can communicate well, that beautiful myelin sheath. It's just beautiful fatty tissue. But so there is hormone blockers that block that LDL and even the HDL from heading into the brain. Some of it seeps through, especially if there's too much in the system. So some of it can seep through, but mostly the brain will block that. It will store sugar, it'll store glucose, but the cholesterol that your liver produces, that's for everything else except the brain. So this is important to know because in order for your brain to function properly, it needs the right amounts of glucose. And if there's too much glucose in the body stores it in the brain because the brain uses so much. And then we can be overproducing cholesterol in the brain as well. And this becomes another issue. So understanding that the myelin sheath that wraps up your axons and it helps your brain to, of course, function. It's a beautiful fatty tissue that should look super slick and beautiful. And you have all these axons and nerve endings, all this gray matter in your brain, which means your nerves are alive and functioning. But when you have damage to the myelin sheath, that's a major problem. Parkinson's disease is the second most progressive neurodegenerative disorder in the aging population, following right behind after Alzheimer's. And friends, even if it's MS, these are nervous system disorders, those are damaged myelin sheaths. Damaged myelin sheaths. How on earth can my myelin sheath get damaged? So if you don't have the right components and building blocks for the cholesterol to be made in the brain, that's a real problem. And there are a few other reasons why your cholesterol in your brain will fail to build these myelin sheaths properly, or they start to degenerate. So excess weight is definitely a problem, because if you have excess weight, you have excess fat, and that probably means that you have excess glucose, because your body has too much glucose, doesn't know where to put it, and your liver can't hold on to it. Sometimes it does because the body's in trouble and the liver says, okay, well, leave some with me. Like, you know, the mom trying to sees the kid coming home from school, they're walking down, you've got the books, you've got the lunch bag, you've got your backpack. Okay, all right, I know my child needs to learn how to be responsible, but son, let me hold something for you. So that's what our good liver does, but it's a real problem. It's a real problem, because mom or dad get too tired and guess what? Dinner's probably not going to get made when you get home. It's going to create issues. So with that being said, is that one indicator that, I probably have a cholesterol problem. I'm holding on to too many toxins. It's not about glamour or vanity. Excess weight is real trouble. You want the body to be lighter and leaner, because that also means that you will have less, you will definitely have less weight, even on your joints. But fat, cholesterol, it's a beautiful thing. But do you know what it does? When the liver has too many toxins, it wraps up those toxins that it can't get rid of in cholesterol. and it sends it up through the bloodstream to store it somewhere until the liver's not busy. Wow, that's problematic, because if you don't give your liver a break, then when is the liver not busy? So those toxins sit and sit and sit in the bloodstream. They pile around the middle, they pile around the arms, then they pile around wherever they can get. And eventually they can get to the brain, and that's real trouble. But this is how diseases are created, because, friends, we have too much. We eat too much, we drink too much, we consume too much toxins. We can't see the inside of our body, but it's an incredible master machinery. And if we could work with it and not against it, it will help you and heal you for the rest of your life, because your body was designed to heal itself. But just as you know, with a messy house, it's like impossible to get anything done. If you ever walk into a house of someone who's a hoarder, like that's what the human body looks like when it's holding on to too many toxins. But I have a really good news for you. You're fixable. You're so fixable. What else could I possibly have to say about cholesterol? Friends, we ain't done yet. And feel free to throw any questions in the chat. I might be answering all of them for you. This is real, friends. Stress is it's so damaging. You can eat Big Macs every day, and don't want McDonald's to sue me, but I don't believe Big Macs are healthy to eat every day. But even if you did, you would never do your body as much damage as stress does. And I want you to understand why. Is because remember what we talked about in the beginning, that your cortisol, your cholesterol is there, and it's important for your steroid hormones, for your cortisol, your adrenaline, your bile acids. But this cortisol is absolutely, cholesterol is needed for cortisol function. It's like the pathway of how cortisol is going to go, because cortisol is so damaging when it goes in the bloodstream. I mean, can you imagine what kind of power hormone? I'm driving, la-di-da. For those who don't know, I live out of the city, so I'm driving up north, and I'm careful. I'm just is there any moose? Is there any deer? But, I should be more careful because I'm still going 120 on the highway. But God forbid a moose or a deer jumps out. What kind of chemical can take my singing my gospel songs in my car, or listening to a good ebook, or talking to my husband to, right? To put the brakes on, heart's racing, palms sweaty, your everything, right? All your muscles go into action to make that decision that fast. That's serious. That's a serious, serious hormone. When in those situations, your body will be able to deal with it. It'll be able to, I thought it was a moose. It was just a leaf from a tree. We're okay. I'm going to change my job to stand-up comedic. Anyway, so as you're doing that, though, because it's so dangerous, necessary but dangerous, your body uses cholesterol to buffer your cells from this cortisol dump. Now, if I'm sitting here and I'm like, oh, I have this seminar, I'm so nervous. I'm not nervous, but I've got this seminar, I'm so nervous. I don't know what to do. Is everyone going to show up? Oh, do I have my slides ready? I'm releasing cortisol. I mean, I'm not releasing the same amount with the moose jumping in front of the car or the leaf, but I'm still releasing cortisol. And that can create butterflies in your stomach, because that's another seminar for another time. But it follows the pathway of the heart, the lungs, and it dumps into the stomach. Cholesterol, cholesterol, cholesterol. Yeah, so that's real. And your body will produce that cholesterol to deal with it. It produces LDL cholesterol to deal with it. So this is a problem. And then your body will try to produce some extra HDL cholesterol to get rid of the LDL cholesterol, because you started thinking happy thoughts again, and now this is too much cholesterol. Can you imagine just the mess in the system? But not all of it's going away, because your body can't work as fast as your brain can think negative thoughts. That's just the reality. And it's just, there's so much stress every day. So stress is real, and stress creates serious high cholesterol. I've met so many vegans that have a clean diet, no refined sugar, no heavy carbohydrates, no animal products, but their cholesterol is so high because their stress is so high. I'll stop talking about that, but it's serious. So what can we do? I want to fix you. I want everybody to heal. I don't want anybody to have bad cholesterol or be on drugs, because drugs are dangerous. Drugs are dangerous. So what's important, friends, is that first of all, you got to take care of your liver. I mean, this is just number one. I hope if there's anything that you're learning here, we must take care of our liver. And because your liver is the one that is producing your proper LDL, HDL, turning extra fats into the bile, and even just fats into bile. It's getting rid of all the toxins. So fasting, friends, just puts the brakes on. It puts the brakes on so you can clean out those closets that you haven't been able to. You can wipe down those baseboards. You can start cleaning a few days off work, and you can actually get some stuff done. So fasting gives the liver a much needed break to just catch up. Your liver, you're like giving it a big hug and kiss every time you fast. And you can overfast for sure. But what an awesome break. We should be fasting regularly. And it would be a good idea for you to, we are offering our consultations at $49 instead of $110 for a full consultation. But it would be good for you to book a consultation or even just check with us so that we can properly do an assessment of your health to tell you, should you fast for 2 days, 3 days, 5 days, or maybe 10? This is what we do at the Energy Shack. So fasting is important, and you might be underweight. You might be on too much medication. I might have to tell you, you can't fast right now. That happens. But you do want healthy fats, because your essential fatty acids, your small amounts of nuts and seeds, no more than a quarter cup for a day, half an avocado for the day, some olive oil. These are fats that help it's the HDL cholesterol that it's turned into, and it helps to pull any extra LDL out of the system. Friends, you need a high vegetable intake and a high fiber intake. So it's the fiber that is also sticky like lipids, and they love each other. Fiber's like, give me yourself, you fat, and takes it right out of your system. So the sticky fibers, and I'm not talking about your bran muffins and your whole wheat bread. No, friends. I'm talking about celery fibers and lettuce fibers and cucumber fibers and radish fibers. These are the fibers that, once digested, if properly chewed, actually sticks to the extra cholesterol that your liver can't dispose of through your portal vein and pulls it out of your system. And bile dissolves all of that. It's an incredible process, but we've got to have big salads every day. So this is just the one thing that I wanted to talk about. Hypercholesterolemia. This is a rare disease that happens to about 9% of the population. And I have counseled with, I know 3 people in the last 10 years. I've worked with 3 people with this rare disease. And I'll tell you, I don't know if he's listening today. I won't say his name out loud, but what a great young man that when we met, I believe he was in his 30s when we met, and his cholesterol's so high. And, when I did the intake, I'm like, yeah, for sure. You're eating some high cholesterol foods. There's no question about it. So we did a program for 2 months, went to get his blood work. And in 2 months, you generally can see the cholesterol go down if you do it properly. First month, telling you, don't take your blood work when you're working with me. Your cholesterol is going to go high because I'm shedding lots of fat out of your body. But after the second month, your liver has a chance to catch up. So by the second month, he goes and gets his blood work, his cholesterol's high. He is not a stressed out individual. So 2, 3, 4, 5 months later, I'm staying close to this individual because I'm concerned here. And I'm like, you know what? Talk to your doctor. I'm confident that you have this disease. You have been vegan for almost like 6 months, I think, at the time, and maybe I don't have all the times right. And your cholesterol is climbing. Your body's overproducing cholesterol. I am sure you have this disease, and wouldn't you know, he did. And I think it was last year, he came to see me. I hadn't worked with him for a couple of years. And he came in to see me and he's like, guess what? I'm like, what? I had a heart attack. You had a what? But here's the reality. He walked away from it because he does recognize that his body is naturally overproducing cholesterol. He has this issue in his body. It's a genetic disposition. And if he eats cholesterol foods, it's just going to take his cholesterol to another level. So he does stay on a plant-based diet. He has to have psyllium fiber, flax fiber every day. And yes, he may have 3 or 4 heart attacks in his life, but he will probably walk away from all of them if he's exercising and, you know, eating well. So not trying to scare you folks, but there is a small percentage of people, and a good, very, you know, wonderful close friend of mine, he passed away in his 80s, but he had 6 heart attacks before he passed away. He had this disease. He was a vegan for like 25 years of his life. And every time he had a heart attack, he just walked away from it. Like, you know, yes, he was in the hospital, but he had a farm. He did everything, but it is for sure genetic disposition. And if you have that disposition, like, you can't touch animal products. You can't have too much sugar. You can't have too many carbohydrates, but it is a very, very, very rare condition. So let's get to the nitty gritty here in the last 5-6 minutes that we have. Let's get to the nitty gritty of what all of this means. So friends, I want you to know, yes, even in North America, I want you to know that sunshine converts your cholesterol to vitamin D. It helps that process. Now, don't go out in the heat of the day, but go outside. Even in the winter, go outside. Join one of our retreats. We teach you how to love cold weather. But sunshine is so healing. So you want to go out before 10 o'clock or after 4 o'clock. But the UV rays from the sun, if you go during those hours, are very healing for cholesterol. That's the truth. Exercise. Can we exercise, friends? Can we do it? Can we just, I've got my rebounder here, go for my hikes, lift my weights. I don't eat animal products, but listen, exercise is so healing. Let's stop being lazy. Let's stop saying we don't have time. You don't even have to go to a gym. I don't have a gym. You should see my workout space. I'm glad it's blurry. But you know, it can be very, very simple. Do some jumping jacks, do some burpees. If you can't even do that, just march on the spot. If you can't get out of your chair because you're immobile, move your arms. We must move. And so here's the thing, exercise first will start using stored glucose. And when that's depleted, it gets right to that cholesterol. Fasting, friends, fasting forces your body to use stored cholesterol for fuel. Like, did we not just talk about the solution here? And fibers from plants, vegetables, pick up cholesterol and pull them out of your system. What? Did we just come up with a cure for high cholesterol? It's incredible. So the more plants you eat, the more you will have healthy cholesterol levels. Healthy LDL, because you need it, healthy triglycerides, because you need it, and healthy HDL, okay? Number one, I just cannot, don't miss your salad, and don't put vinegar on it and store-bought dressings. Dash your vinegar away. It's killing your liver. You are pickling your liver and you're poisoning it. So don't touch vinegar. It doesn't matter if it's apple cider vinegar, balsamic vinegar, vinegar that you brought all the way from Italy. Vinegar is alcohol fermented. So we know alcohol poisons the liver. Vinegar is metabolized the same way. Put lemon juice, olive oil on your salad, and enjoy a whopping big salad every single day. If you have digestion issues and you can't eat a salad, you need to talk to me because we can help you heal that. But it's the fiber from the salads, not from bran flakes and from your fiber substitutes, that pick up the cholesterol. Oh, what am I going to say about water? Let's just all take a drink right now. Friends, your blood plasma is like 90% water. So fat's going nowhere in your bloodstream if your blood's thick. Like seriously, we have to drink water. We have to drink water. Drop the tea, drop the coffee, drop the pop, drop the juice, drop the kombucha. All we need is water. Save those fancy drinks for special occasions. Do you know what our world is missing today? I'm going to tell you. Discipline. The end. I know I used to be in the military and probably that seems to come easy for me, but I'm going to tell you that that's like the whole world needs to go to the military maybe, but really we just need some discipline. We need to organize our day, organize our time. And I'm not talking about self-care. I'm talking about making sure you're taking time to make your salads, to work out, to walk outside. You can work out for 15 minutes. You just need to move your body. And we need to start being intentional about enjoying life and taking care of us, because what is the point of working so hard, eating garbage, and then work is finished and we're not well? What is the point of that? Yeah, it's so good to age well and age healthy. Like longevity is everything. So here's the solution for you, for all of those that have stayed on. And by the way, if you can hang on for just a couple more minutes, I have prizes to give you at the end of this seminar. So avoid your high saturated fats. Like seriously, if I could just make the whole world plant-based, I totally would. Like we don't actually need animal products. Telling you, you don't. If you want to eat it, that's up to you, but you don't need it. Your body produces all the cholesterol and you can get all the cholesterol you need and you can get all the protein you need from plants. Believe it or not, you can. Fasting, regular intervals of fasting. I recommend our vegetable juice fast because we don't mix fruits with them, but you could do a water fast, but you've got to be able to do it safely. So talk to me about that. Exercise, increase your fiber, reduce your stress. And you might be saying, I'm not stressed, but you only sleep 6 hours a night. Your body's in stress because you need 7 to 9 hours. And do everything you can to keep your liver clean. And that means no alcohol, no tobacco. That means no marijuana. That means to reduce your drugs and your supplements. Let's stop taking 500,000 supplements, okay? Because supplements even have a waste byproduct. So we are spending way too much money on supplements. I'm not even going to get into that. And what are the remedies for our cholesterol? Well, like blood pressure, beets, celery, garlic, incredible because they stimulate the liver, they help the liver. Red rice supplements are a good supplement for cholesterol. But listen, I don't want you to not change your diet and go out and buy red rice supplements. Okay, I'm asking you change your diet. And if you want, add the exercise, drink the water. And to help it along, you could get a red rice supplement, flax fiber, psyllium fiber. Those are good, but you have to grind up your flax, put it in the freezer, add a tablespoon every day to your water, drink it down, or put it just your morning water, or put it on your porridge or something. But these are great ways to naturally reduce cholesterol.
To God be the glory, great things He has done. So loved He the world that He gave us His Son, who yielded His life an atonement for sin, and opened the life gate that all may go in. Praise the Lord, praise the Lord, let the earth hear His voice. Praise the Lord, praise the Lord, let the people rejoice. Oh, come to the Father through Jesus the Son, and give Him the glory, great things He has done. Praise the Lord, praise the Lord, let the earth hear His voice. Praise the Lord, praise the Lord, let the people rejoice. Oh, come to the Father through Jesus the Son, and give him the glory. Great things he has done. Great things he has told us. Great things he has done. And great our rejoicing through Jesus the Son. But purer and higher and greater will be our wonder, our transport, when Jesus we see. Praise the Lord, praise the Lord, let the earth hear his voice. Praise the Lord, let the people rejoice. Oh, come to the Father through Jesus the Son, and give him the glory. Great things he has done. Praise the Lord, let the earth hear his voice. Praise the Lord, let the people rejoice. Oh, come to the Father through Jesus the Son, and give him the glory. Great things he has done. Oh, come to the Father through Jesus the Son, and give him the glory. Great things he has done. Oh, come to Jesus, to the Father